Welcome, friends, to Fasting Space. How are you today? I hope you are so well. Whether you're here with me live or you're coming through on the replay, I say the same thing. Are you looking forward and trying to start a new health habit, or are you trying to take a health habit that you have and dial it in? Maybe 1% better. That's a big theme in this beautiful book that I'm helping us step through, Atomic Habits. We are going to keep stepping through it. I am reading through it kind of live as we're going, day by day, gleaning insights, bringing them into our conversation of health. How do we build a mindset and a physical practice and a way of being in the world that is just growing day by day? A little bit tiny steps. I just love it. I love to think of our health practice as a journey every day, an opportunity to take another step forward in learning. You know, whatever we are dealing with to experience this, we have barriers to our progress. And the process of a journey, like climbing up a mountain, finding the way, is like taking the barriers, the obstacles, turning them into opportunities, things that we learn from so that we can grow from it and end up hiking up to a higher place. Love that thinking. How are you doing on that process? Share the journey. Feel free. Throw in the comments, your reflections, observations. This strategy, I loved it when I was reading through this yesterday as I was thinking about what we shall talk about. And I was like, oh, even we got to some of this thinking on our own in our conversation too. But this will really crystallize it, I think. He describes here a research study, which I have not gone and pulled the primary source, but it is referenced. I might do it. 3 groups of people who they are trying to get to more exercise more often. 248 people in this study. And in the 3 groups, here's what they did. In one group, they told them, hey, without any sort of context, they just said, start measuring how often you exercise, okay? And then in group 2, which they call the motivation group, they had them do the same thing, just track the things, but then they gave people education, both pamphlets and a little seminar about how exercise can help you to be healthier and reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease. They just gave some education. And then the third group, they got the same education, they got the same tracking. However, before they leave the session, they were asked to formulate a plan for when and where they would exercise over the following week. Each member completed the following sentence. They had to write it out. Now, I don't know when this study was done. I would imagine it was done before proliferation of all of our electronic things. I would say still do it. Actually write this sentence out. Think of ourselves doing it. During the next week, I will partake in at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise on this day, at this time, and in this place. They write it out, get it on the calendar. We were talking about this, the other day. Do you remember this? We were saying when we were talking about the demo crew that was going to break down all of our mental barriers. We're going to schedule a time for that. So we are heading right into that kind of mindset today. Queen of Heaven is here. Good morning. How are you today? Good to have you here. Thank you for joining. This is what they call in this session, I love it, an implementation intention. We talked a lot about on the channel, right? Intentions, right? I'm super big into intentions, right? Getting our mindset in the place that is dialed in for what we are trying to accomplish, because we are a mind-body entity that is driven by our thought. And when we are dialed in on the mindset and the intention, it is taking all these subconscious layers that we barely understand and it is marshaling all of our resources and energy to help propel us forward. So intention is very powerful. If we're here in a space, say our intention now is like starting something new or taking something that has become static and making it new, dialing it in a little bit better fashion, right? Implementation intention. It's one thing to learn about something. It's one thing to think about it, but then it is another thing to have a concrete plan to put it into action to help you actualize it. Writing it out in this format, which we're going to go over, apparently, he says, replicated in hundreds of studies to use this framework. And I like it. Now, here is what is interesting, and this is what is merging so much of our thinking together. He says, cues that trigger a habit outcome come in a wide range of forms. The feeling of your phone buzzing in your pocket, the smell of chocolate chip cookies, the sound of sirens. Cues are happening in our environment all the time. But the two most common cues are time and location. Implementation intentions leverage these powerful cues, time and location. Think about cues, right? Every book that I pick that is talking about, like, how do we get into a different health space, a different mindset, is all centering around so much of the same thinking. Think of thinking fast and slow. Priming effects, right? Priming effects are the way that book talked about all these cues that are, loading up our mind, subconsciously shaping our experience and decisions in the background. We want to make it as easy as possible for ourselves to flow in the direction that we really want. And so they say use this format. When situation X arises, I will perform response Y. He has a second way to phrase it, a little more precise. I will do this specific behavior that we're trying to do, this specific thing, at this time, in this place. Right? So we can take this idea into this health space. Remember, we're trying to create a holistic space of health. Fasting based, because to me that is like the core of what we are trying to do, core of the metabolism and our experience. And then we add in every good health practice on top of it, choosing the healthiest foods, moving our bodies in the healthiest ways, carving out time for the mental health practices that really underpin the whole health of the system, because we are mind-led. You could frame these things in any different way. Someone else says, "Oh, I want them picture the mental health space as that bedrock practice, and then add in some fasting as appropriate, add in some food and movement." See, I really resonate with that. I really do. You could look at the same thing from the perspective of like healthy eating is the core, right? Because we are what someone might refer to as a dissipative system, right? We don't create energy out of us. We have to bring it into our body and let it go and use it, right? So like bringing food, the healthiest foundational practice, we add in fasting and movement and mindfulness. See, it all spirals and flows together. We really need all of these things, don't we, in order to feel our best, to be strong, healthy, positive. So whichever one of these things are resonating the most with you, I say you can use this for. I say just pick one at a time, and practice it. Say, maybe this week, we're going to focus on this direction. Here's what it could look like to use that framework kind of in each of these things, right? Someone says, it is hard to start really fasting. I haven't done it, it's hard to get in the door, or I'm at this level and I wish it was here. Like, put it on the calendar. Like, do you have an electronic calendar? Can you put a reminder on it? At this time, I've like made the decision ahead of time, and we are like going for it. You know what I mean? Recognizing, never sign a contract. You're never going to force yourself through a space. But like if you scheduled it for next week and you spend an entire week psyching yourself up and thinking for it, like would it help? and then the calendar reminder is going off. You've organized the entire environment around you to help you do it, okay? That would be a way to do it. This practice, this place, this time. The other way, I did a video somewhere a while back that is like, how do you start fasting? Like, you don't even have to call it fasting. You just focus on eating. That would be the other paradigm. Like, schedule the meals on the calendar. Like, isn't this an interesting way to think about it? You don't have to schedule fasting if that is putting the intensity in a place that has been difficult. See, we're just like, remember, my favorite analogy is like looking to the light, right? Say, we're just going to schedule in the meals. We're going to eat at this time. It's on the calendar. And then we've planned ahead. And now you start flowing into that space. The examples he gives here are also in our same sort of space. He says meditation. He puts it on the calendar. I will do a meditation for 1 minute at 7 a.m. in my kitchen. See, that's an atomic habit, right? Take 1 minute. You don't have to schedule in a 45-minute session, especially on, day one. We are like building a habit. You see, it's like a tiny start. Put it on the calendar. I totally love that. I think we do not leverage the electronic tools enough, We can get distracted by electronic tools. We can just go down rabbit holes of social media and stuck in a doom loop of something. But can we leverage it to use it in the very best way possible? Put some positive reminders in our day of the health things that we want to be doing so that it is priming us. It's like, oh yeah, I decided I'm going to do that. Helps us hit that priming space. Mind's like, yeah, this is what we're doing now. Now we're going to flow in that direction. He says here, we tell ourselves, I'm going to eat healthier. But we never say when and where these habits are going to happen. We leave it up to chance, and we hope that we'll just remember to do it, or that we'll feel motivated at the right time. Remember the session we did the other day about building motivation, that it's often the action that comes first and then the motivation follows. Have you experienced that in your life? And here is a way to really implement it. Like if you find yourself in a space where you're like, man, the motivation is flowing, I'm totally motivated. Well, you don't need any other framework. You just flow with it and you be grateful for it, right? But if you're in a space, you're like, man, I'm kind of stuck. I need some help. I need to build a new habit. I need to go in a new direction. I need a stronger sort of position to act from. All of a sudden, you schedule something using this framework, and you've already decided it ahead of time. All of a sudden, you start to priming that. You're pushing out everything else that could be happening, and these few mental slots that we have in the mind are dialing in on it, helping you to do it. So you've set the priority, and then you're doing it, even if it's 1 minute, like he says. I did the 1 minute meditation. I took some deep breaths. I cleared my thoughts. I centered my thinking. Okay, what if you got in a groove of that? Every day you're just taking a minute, okay? Now we're really building a habit. Now you might come to find that you really enjoy it. After the first week, and you were like, that was not so bad. And you built some evidence, look at me, I'm somebody who meditates now every day. That didn't used to be the case, but now you have evidence. I'm kind of a different kind of person now. I got in a routine. All of a sudden, you're going to feel like this has helped my life, and now the motivation is coming out of it. Now you have some experience. Do you see? You set it ahead of time. Maybe you weren't so motivated to do it. But then this process can help you flow into that space in a way that helps you to build motivation. I can totally see this being such a great way to start a habit. What do you think? Have you done something like this? Once an implementation intention has been set, you don't have to wait for inspiration to strike. Do I write a chapter today or do I not? Do I open up a meditation space this morning or not, right? When the moment of action occurs, there's no need to make a decision. You follow the plan. You already made the decision. I'm a big fan of making decisions ahead of time. This is a big concept that I get for like the grocery store, right? People who struggle, like anything that you buy at the grocery store, you're going to eat it once it gets into your house, right? So I say win the battle at the grocery store. Like if you don't put like the cookies on the list from the store and they don't make it into the cart, then when you're sitting there at 5 o'clock and you're stressed out and like, haven't started, then you're not going to buy them. You're not going to go all the way back out to the store at that point, most likely. So like you win the battle first. Don't bring the stuff into the house as like a list. Like make a list, head into the store with the list, follow the plan. This is kind of another example of that. We're setting an intention for the store. This is how we're going to win our experience here. We're trying to set these priming effects, right? It's the same sort of thing. The list is priming you. I'm getting these things, not something else. We're dialing in on this so that it excludes everything else. When we're trying to say, I will exercise at 6:30 by walking in my own neighborhood, and I've set it, and you got a calendar reminder, and you've gotten your shoes and clothes out for it so that you can get up and do it, right? That would be a thing. It's trying to remove every barrier. Then you don't have to make every other decision. Like, I think I'm staying in bed now because it's warm and I don't feel like it. It's like the phone's going off. It's sending the cues. Here's a tip, he says. If you aren't sure when to start your habit, try the first day of the week, the first day of the month. People more likely to take action at those times because they feel more hopeful. It's like a fresh start, even in a week, I like that. It's a new week. If we have hope, we have a reason to take action. A fresh start can feel very motivating. I especially like week. I would pick week over month. Like if we're trying to get in, a cycle, we don't necessarily have to wait a month. If the end of our week happens to be the month, all the better, but week probably good enough for most things. Here we're in this session on a Friday, and so it's like take the weekend, build up the thoughts, make the plan, schedule in things. Then you've got a couple days to really dial in on it. Another benefit to this implementation intention, being specific about what you want and how you will achieve it, right? So many times, don't we? We kind of sit there in a generalized space. We have like things that aren't really specific. Creating some accountability, even for ourselves. Like if it's just for ourselves, it's like if we wrote it out, then we at least have some accountability with ourselves. When you have such detail, when you've spelled it out, can help you to say no to things that are derailing your progress. Say no to things that are distracting your attention, things that are pulling you off course. If you have it written out, if you've done the work of putting this intention like onto paper in the world, you've made it concrete. You've primed all the things that we really care about, right? That you care about. Easier to identify and see the things that are keeping you from doing it, When things aren't defined, when they aren't spelled out, it's like we aren't necessarily as centered as we could possibly be, right? And so then it's easier for things to pull us around, That's the world, right? We talked about that over the last couple days. So many influences in this season trying to manipulate and sell things and push us in different directions. Do we know who we really are, right? Our identity? Do we see how that identity is manifesting itself? like in the world, the types of decisions that we make that are in alignment with who we are. And if we have gotten so specific that we can actually write those things down, who am I and what do I believe and what does that mean about the things I do? If we get it to the level that it's like, this is how I will act, even at this time, and we write it out and we even put it on a calendar, right? Do we care that much about it? Can we bring the intensity? I care this much about it to go through all of these steps. If you have gone through a process like that and you have it on the calendar and it's telling you this is what, many days of thinking have led to this. I mean, it's so important. And then now something is coming and telling you not to do that. Do you see that that is such a powerful place and that it will help you to say no? Do you see that? To anything that is not in alignment with what you really want, to get that much clarity. We did that session yesterday or this week, trying to find the clarity. How do you do it? These are the practices. Opening up the space, doing a deep and personal reflection. Ideally, writing that out. And then I say take that mindset. You find some clarity, filter it through this, and get it into a concrete, actionable plan so that you know what you're going to be doing. At least give yourself the best shot, right? They say here, we often say yes to little requests. And maybe these are little requests that are just not quite in alignment with what we want to be doing. But we want to please people, and maybe we haven't been so clear about what we really want, and so we don't really realize how even this little thing is like not taking us in the best direction. When your dreams are vague, it's easy to rationalize little exceptions all day long, and then you never get around to the things you actually need to do to really succeed. Do you see that? This is like what this book is doing about compounding, right? That everything matters, that each little thing is adding up. And so like, we need some clarity, right? We need clarity in our life to see how the tiny decisions, not even the big things, if we have used this framework, we've written out these intentions and scheduled them, so everything about what we are trying to do, shaping that, then we can see even these tiny things. Like, oh, this isn't quite what we are about in this space, Helps us take powerful action to move forward in health. This is like a shield. Think of it like a shield. Everything that is trying to distract us and pull us off course, now we've built this framework that says, no, this is what we are doing now across any domain where it is. Every process that brings health and wellness to the body, our movement processes, our eating processes, or the lack of it if we are entering into that fasting sort of space. And then every beautiful mental health practice. Especially the meditation, the breathing, the journal. Those are my top ones, right? You're trying to flow in a direction of finding peace and contentment, health, wholeness in life. Okay, if we want to start at a really foundational level, take a deep breath. It's going to help send that parasympathetic flow to the body. Turn down that fight or flight system that, like everything in society today, right, is just amping that up, because when we're in that space, fight or flight is communicating to the body, everything is not safe. Okay, think of that. That's the thing. We're getting attacked. Some situation is not dangerous or not safe. Like, what has to happen? Heart rate's got to be up. Muscles got to be primed. Everything dialed in, because it's like, do we have to fight? Do we have to run away? And so like in that space, that's not a space for open reflection, thoughtful contemplation. That's a space like stay alive. Can you see that in that space, that is the ideal sort of space to sell something to somebody? You know what I mean? Like, if somebody is not safe and you have primed them in a sort of state that says, I need something here, like something is not quite right. Like, hey, look at my product. This is going to help you, right? It's like it's creating the environment where we're looking for some sort of solution, and we're in this space. Okay, what's the opposite of that? Take a deep breath. Recognize that peace and contentment, health, wholeness is right here in this space. And so much of the process of getting to it, process of not doing, right? That it's not about everything, not about needing anything, bringing the strength and the power within out into a space, okay? This is how we are getting into powerful pathways of health, okay? There is health, the potential for health and wellness in the body that people have not really appreciated in our culture. The things that I have seen, I'll tell you, I have seen what I would describe as actual healing happen to people in a fasting space. And we've talked through that a lot. And so nobody has to do a fasting space. To me, a fasting process is like a calling. And it's especially a calling for people who say, I have tried so many other pathways to find health and contentment. It's like, and I've done all these things. And it's like, maybe are we not finding it? Well, here is a path that is totally different, right? Find contentment, peace, and health by not doing. It's the paradox. It's like the inversion of things in society. And if we look at society, would you agree? In general, society today, not exactly healthy. So don't we want something that is a little inverted from that? From the stress and the pressure, all of these things. Say we've been called to fast the way I would say it. The body's just built to be able to fast. Like if you look at the way the body is constructed, every cell in our body has fasting pathways called autophagy pathways that unleash healing potential in the body. And how amazing is that? So I say, do you have a habit that is dialed in on something like that, of giving the space to the body for a process that is cleansing and renewal, something that is quite positive? I love how he says this here. Give your habits, or we say give this habit, the thing that we are trying to focus on, improve, a time and a space to live in the world. Give your habits a time and space to live in the world. Isn't that beautiful? I really love it. Like, it's taking something that could be kind of abstract and ethereal, like an idea, like, oh, I think it would be a good idea to do such and such, okay? Give it a real time and place to live in the world. Actually write it out physically into the world and then schedule it. And then start using every process that you have to plan for it and support it. That is the intention, the implementation intention from this book. And I significantly like that. How do you feel about it? Have you used it? Do you intend to use it? What is the habit that you either want to start or that you want to take and dial in a higher level? I'd love to hear about it. Do share in the comments. And love to have an ongoing discussion about how this habit goes for you, this habit intention process. I know I am dialing in on some things, and I am thinking, how can I get these things onto my calendar, put them in a more powerful way, give them a time and space to live in the real world, help take them out of the mind into the actual practice. Appreciate sharing this time with you today. I hope you have a beautiful day, have a beautiful weekend, and I will look forward to connecting with you further next week. Have a great day, everybody.